the fallen.
Okay. So what happened was, and this is how, and because I was looking at, because it's funny how I was looking at how they were honoring Michael Jordan. And I remember he did a movie called Space Jam that kind of tells you how it really works. Okay, those monsters are the third that were swiped down from heaven, okay, controlling him and his system that people didn't know. Okay. And he was showing you that kind of like, this is what they've done to us as Banabetu in America, that the monsters control the world. Okay. So, and it's kind of how they were honoring him because Mikael is getting ready to stand up. So now what happened is, so when we began to form Isolele, okay, the other nations were also rising that belonged to Nimrod and through Satan, okay, the Babylonian system, which even got tainted in Egypt, Kemet, where they started worshiping the false gods, okay? So what happened was the Most High was trying to isolate Yakuba, but we still didn't listen to him, and we actually end up messing up and causing issues where we sent our brother Yosefu into Egypt as a slave. Well, of course, the Most High was against that, okay? So what happened is we ended up going and prophesying, and we went into Kamata, which is the land of Kemet, where we would now spend about almost 400 years, but not quite, for our disobedience. So that was our first real true captivity as the 12 tribes of Isolele, for disobedience, because the good sheep became tainted with what I would call Nimrod sheep, or even goats, as you will. We became tainted with that. So then, of course, Masa came and free and got us out of there and brought us into our chosen land, which is really in Africa. They didn't go north to Palestine like they keep telling you, because at that time, it was called the land of the Philistines, or the land of the Canaanites. Okay, they weren't up there. They were in, if there's even proof today, the Canaanites were in Africa.
Okay? And we even find of these giants being talked about, ancient,
Somalians.
Yes, ancient cartography. We get to see in their maps, they record of giants. So are these actual giants or the leopard people? I don't know if you've come across this. Put it into perspective.
Well, the perspective.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, yes.
There is a point which we have missed. I think those who have come later.
Oh,
we
sorry.
As we were adding the first session, we just entered into a phase whereby you were talking about I think the entry of
right. We're talking about how the Most High took Abana, Abraham,
yes,
and put him with the good fold as the good sheep, to start the good sheep. Yes. Okay. And Nimrod was starting to chase him to stop him from creating this kingdom, because he had a vision in the book of Joshua, if you ever get a chance to read it, that he knew the seed of Abraham would dominate the world, and he wanted to stop that. Okay. So what happened was, when we came out of Egypt, we're talking about how we went into Egypt because of disobedience. Once it first, to start with, as a nation, the 12 tribes, we went into Kamata, and that was really Banabetu. That was not what I now know as the Hittites, who now call themselves real Jews, okay? The Ashkenazi people. They went into Egypt after us when Ramesses fought them. And that's how they were able to steal our identity. Okay, so what happened was, our people came out through Mosi, and we went down, we went up, which is really the topography is the up, because from Egypt to Southern Africa is going up in topography, really going back across the Nile, not across the Red Sea as they try to portray it, down into Egypt. I mean, down into Embo, okay? So the Canaanites were there. They were Somalian. I mean, as a matter of fact, the lush vegetation covered how tall they were because they were big people, okay? So when we came into their land, and we even encountered the other group, what is it called?
The Nilotes.
the Nilots, okay, we encountered them. The Most High saved us from them. Those people were in Africa. They were not up in Northeast like we've been told, because their lineage has been changed. The archaeology has been changed. Those who control the information has changed it, which is the Khazars, because they don't want people to know Esau himself, because Esau was already separated when this happened.
Mhm.
He didn't want you to know that the Banabetu were the fact the real Jews, because we can judge him.
And
Okay.
we find that he's the biggest part of the deception. He knew the language, and it was easy for him
Correct.
to
manipulate it.
the Congololo language and do whatever.
Correct.
Because we believe all these languages, there can't be one or one Bantu language, or we're picking bits and pieces, because
Yeah, the variations because of it, right?
as
The
fa-
interactions.
the farther they moved from the Mani Congo kingdom. Now, BC AD.
Okay, so here's what
The
happened.
tough questions.
Right.
You know what
So
I'm
here's
at.
what happened. Okay, so the good shepherd comes. Okay. Because the problem is all along we kept following the bad sheep. We kept following the sheep of Baal. Okay. We wanted to continue to keep being like Baal. Then our kingdom kept getting messed up. This is why we had so many variations of Bantu languages. Okay. Starting with the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians. Okay. Those were Bantu people that went in there. And so what happened was the Most High sent Kuswa Congo, as we know as Yesu Kristo Isaiah Congo, to show us how the Most High want us to be in the law of Mosi. That law is called the Tula. The Tula, when he wrote it, is also put on our hearts. This is why Bantu people have a different coding when it comes to interacting with other nations. We don't just do what they do. We have a problem with the things that they do. Okay, we have to be coaxed into it because we know something is not right. So what happened was many of our people believed him, but there were the leaders that did not. The elders. This has always been our problem. The elders, the priests, who got tainted with the Khazars at the time, and Rome, who wanted to control the state, the people. So what happened was we thought Kuswa was coming to liberate us from that. But he really came to teach us how to be like the Most High. This is what he was intending us to do, to live by the example. And many of us started to follow it, but there were those who started to hate him because he was demonstrating that we were carnal and not spiritual, that we were fallen because we came from the Most High. We were different than the other nations. We were supposed to lead the other nations as the Most High commanded and not just do our own thing. So they had problems with him not following the laws of Mosi. Okay. So that's why he kept trying to show them the spirit leads us, not man. What the Most High wants is what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. But if you're with the Most High, you are already following the law of Mosi. But they had a problem with that. And that's how he was able to demonstrate the power that came with that, because when you're in the Mwandan Semi, when you have the Holy Spirit, you can do things that people are going to be like, wow, how did you do that? He was showing us we are the Malekis. We are Malekis first, not carnal, like the other nations. Okay, this is why they could not be with us. We had to lead them, but not mix with them. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is where Christianity was able to turn this around on us, okay? So really what happened, so like I said, we'll do the sheepfold, the sheep again. So we call ourselves the black sheep. We'll say we're the Bantus are the black sheep. The other nations are like the white sheep, goats, pigs, dogs, whatever you want to call them, because that's what he was saying. You cannot give us righteous on dogs, pigs, okay? And in the book of Isaiah, we were the black sheep that always wanted to be like the other nations, so we didn't know our father. That's why he said the ox knows his master, the donkey knows his crib, but my people. And in Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That is the Banabetu, the people who have the name of Yah in their name, Yakongo.
And you know,
Okay, that's not Christians.
brother,
Okay?
brother,
Yes, sir.
and perhaps the viewers will want to know, as you can see on your screen, this is an interesting article that was forwarded to me from the August Melbourne, 1848, 1957. It was on 17th October, 1922. It's in open source, and there's an article in that paper that talks about ethnologists in Kenya colony believe they have discovered in the Kikuyu a race of natives who inhabit the regions around Nairobi, one of the lost tribes of Isolele. They base their belief on the fact that many of the tribal customs of the Kikuyu bear a strong resemblance to those recorded in the Old Testament. For example, they believe in Tata Nzambe and the resurrection of the soul. They will not touch pork and will never hurt pigs or do unclean work. Also, they carry out the ancient Hebrew custom of the scapegoat, by which a goat, after having had transferred to the sins of the people, is driven out of the wilderness.
Into wilderness, and that's Azazel. Okay, so now the Khazars stole that and turned it into their traditions through Judaism. And they denied the other books besides the 5 books of Moses. Okay, then they had they took our version of the Talmud, which is really ours, and tainted it. Now, the deception on Christianity is everybody thinks that it just stopped with Yochanan in the book of Revelations when it comes to the Muntus. Wrong. Okay, the Most High continued to be with his people. From that point on, as a brother named Makayan Zambi pointed out in his video, Yakongo brought us to Congo di Ntotela after Salama or Jerusalem was destroyed. So he was scattered. Jerusalem was in Africa. We were scattered from there. So we went into Europe. We went into, some of us even went across the Atlantic Ocean. We went into India. We went all over. So
there must have been persecution at this point.
Right. So the disciples' role at that point was to help bring all of us back. Okay. And the Gentiles at that point were supposed to play a role because the Most High was jealous. He gave it over to them a little bit, but he didn't tell them to take over. Solomon was supposed to use our converted Bantu people that back on Kuswa side to bring us back to our knowledge. While this was happening, the Most High had started to reestablish us in our kingdom. Yakongo this is where Hebrews 8:8 plays this role, the new covenant with us. So he gave us Congo di Ntotela. They set up the 12 kingdoms, the 12 tribes. Here's the problem. Islam was growing. That's what we did. Oh, we want to be like Islam. So we went enslaved that way. Okay. So then what happened is, like Master points out, we continue to not always like the fact that the Most High chose secrets for different people. We all wanted to be on the same level of the spirituality. And on top of that, because we were still mixing with some of the Hamitic tribes in Africa, we were creating problems once again with our spirituality.
Because that is something Tata Nzambi frowns upon.
Yeah, he frowns upon it. So then now you have Catholicism, who is now taking over Europe at this time. You got Islam that's starting to take over Africa. Okay. So what happens is Islam softened us up, Catholicism finished us off. Okay. So when when Monde Congo met with the Portuguese people, he accepted the false Messiah. Bantu people don't even realize we had the Mwanda Samuel. Yeah, we had them. Yeah, We had the Mwandan Semi already. We were powerful people. Nobody could touch us at this time. But we hard-headed, stiff-necked. So when Kanye West said that it was the choice that we went into slavery, as the Banabetu, we decided we preferred the way of the Muzungus over our own ways. So that was why we went into spiritual and physical captivity, where we were now taught the Bible in reverse. As the Gentiles or Gentiles / Esau's people on top, Yakuba, Isolele on the bottom, literally.
But the
And
bottom
then,
shall
and then when they went into South America, the secret societies that people don't understand established Mystery Babylon in where you now call America. They christened that land when the colony started as Nimrod's land, New Jerusalem, as they wanted to call it. For whom? Not us.
for them.
The Ashkenazi Jews who had their connections there, because the Ashkenazi Jews were involved with the slave trade. Even the island of Curacao, they have the Jewish and Catholic separated cemeteries, and one of the captains in the cemetery had 100 slave ships.
We even know of a ship named Jesus.
The good ship Jesus. That was run by an Ashkenazi Jew. Okay.
Interesting. So now we've gone through the historical phase. We understand why the apostles were sent and the disciples, those that were taught the way. Now these disciples, you know, a lot of us have grown seeing Jesus with his, oily hair, which is nowhere biblically mentioned. So these apostles, why is it important? Why is Simon Toko important? What of his teachings has resonated? Yeah, Simon Kimbangu. We understand he even tried to introduce the movement, introduce a new way to write the Bantu language. And I've looked at this script. It looks a lot like what the Ashkenazis have done.
So in the prophecy of Daniel, here's how we got deceived. Masa just did about Maswa, who was a person that was involved. So in the book of Simon Toko, the Maya Mona that he wrote, the 4 beasts that Daniel spoke about was Simon Kimbangu, Simon Padi, Maswa, and Simon Toko. The Catholics, the Christianity took that to mean these were supposed to be 4 beasts of apocalyptic things for the future. Retaught, misconstrued once again, because the concept, those represented our captivities that were the major ones. Those 4 beasts, okay? Daniel was prophesying the future of the Banabetu. And the Catholics know this, but they hid this from the rest of the world. Okay, he was also prophesying the destruction of the nations all the way from ancient Babylon to Mystery Babylon in the United States. With that, the statue that Nebuchadnezzar saw. They know this. They know this, okay? So the way they had to hide our identity from us was to tell the world, these are Gentile people who are just wild bunch of savages, don't know nothing, crazy people, worshiping a bunch of dead gods. And when they themselves were worshiping the dead gods with the S cut off. Okay? That was the secret. Go ahead.
Mundele ways. Right. Now, how do we sift through the influence, because these churches have existed And we will agree, I think you will agree with me, they are not void of the Mundele influence. So how do we convince these people that part of what they were taught? Because one thing I've realized about the
Okay,
Mundele does not, yes?
I'm gonna give them one thing they need to pay attention to, and they're everywhere.
Mhm.
And you should remember where they come from. The obelisk. Okay? Any place that has an obelisk is the god Ra. The obelisk is what you call the Washington Monument. The Eiffel Tower in France is a modified version of it. They have one in front of the Vatican in Rome. There is nothing biblically most high or godlike with those symbols.
And we know it's just Nimrod's
Yes,
genitalia.
yes, that's Nimrod's genitalia that they put in ancient Egypt in front of the pyramid of Giza. His mother was upset because of what happened to him, so she made them worship his phallic symbol in the form of the obelisk. So anywhere you see those, it's all Luciferian, it's all satanic, it's all belonging to Nimrod and Lucifer. This is the deception upon the Banabetu. They got us. This is what Esau did. He got us to curse ourselves by killing ourselves because of lack of knowledge. So every war you see, every fight you see with the Mundele is to get Jacob to fight Jacob without knowing it.
And Jacob is doing a pretty good job fighting himself from
on the
within.
streets of LA and New York and even in Africa and South America with
But
all
we
the
say,
gangs, Asia.
We say Kembo Kembo na Tata Nzambi Mpungu Tolendo because we're seeing a lot of the awakening. Now it's happening among people who are able to bring about this attention. We have the king of Embo, the incumbent,
Right.
talking about the Bantu awakening, talking about you people coming back home, apologizing to whatever happens, because it goes both ways. We always say Banabeto's worst enemy has been Banabeto himself.
Anabetu, exactly. And that's how even when they started slavery with Willie Lynch, he already knew that we could be our own worst enemy. So he used it to his advantage during slavery. And so this is where I talk about the shepherds, okay? We were the black sheep who were really the good sheep. The Gentiles were the white sheep who were really following the false shepherd. We were not supposed to mix. But the wolves came around and convinced you, yeah, you belong with us. And there were also goats among them, okay? So what happened is you have been brought from the black sheep of the Most High's foundation of his own corral, or whatever you want to call it, his pasture. You have now been scattered among. So what happens if you mix the black sheep with the white sheep? You get strange mixtures.
And we know our progenitor, Yakubi, was a grand, he was about keeping the pure breed, something that we find symbolic when he's separating his dog from Laban. Perhaps this is what the Most High is trying to tell us.
Right. So our disobedience, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, because go ahead.
Yeah.
So our disobedience to Yakongo, to Tatanzambi, caused us to now be mixed with the Mundele spirits, which has cut you off spiritually from the Mwandan Semi and the Most High because of the changing of the teachings of your brain. So they turned you into the other sheep and the other goats and convinced you this is your pasture now. And we're trying to tell you, you're in the wrong place. You need to come back to Congo. And this is what's going on. And that's a fight because you are convinced, well, you're a sheep, you're a black sheep pretending to be a white sheep or a goat. You say, oh no, because the wolves have nipped at the buds of all their people to ensnare you, to keep you in that mindset. So go ahead.
Kembo. I don't
Kembo.
know. We've been going at it. I see my brothers here. They are following. Perhaps at this point, if it's a question, something
Yeah, go ahead.
something to add in, because a lot has been talked about here, brothers, and a lot of it, all of it, is verifiable information. So, my brothers, to you, what do you think of this information? Breaking news, as I call it.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Nobody?
So, Brother Morigi, say something.
I was actually waiting for you.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
You are the new one in the fold now today. We want to hear your voice.
Go
We want
ahead.
to
Thank
get your
you. Thank
comments.
You know,
Yes.
no, kindly proceed, brother.
All right. Thank you. I'm grateful to be here.
Yeah.
My name is Murigi.
Bayete.
Yeah, it's good to meet Trey. I've watched some of your videos. Yeah, and I'm grateful. I think it's important for us to be able to understand where we've come from and who we are. I think it's all about the battle of identity. But I'm so grateful that the Most High is doing His work at this moment, so that we can come to know who we are in Him. Yeah, and to understand that He is ours. Yeah, we are not adopted; we are the sons. All right. So I'm grateful, Trey, for you bringing out this information. It's something that we all need to understand and comprehend. How I pray that we'll be able to comprehend even much more, because personally, I consider myself as someone who is still learning. Yeah, I'm still longing. I'm thirsty for what the Most High is doing, what the Most High is revealing, because I just want to understand much more, and in the process of doing so, dispel any form of deception and lies that I've believed over the years. Yeah, so today I'm just here wanting to learn, and especially from Trey. I know you have a lot of information and knowledge that we need to hear. Yeah, so I'm honored, and I thank you, Matondo.
Matondo
to Tatanzambi, because this is all coming through him, of course.
Kembo.
Yes.
Kembo.
Yes.
Well,
hallelujah.
We thank him. We thank him for this. We thank him for this. Trey, I tell you, you're the tree with the apples, so I will throw stones. You have information. I speak. I am a Bantu, so I shall speak as one.
Go right ahead.
We started by playing a video. On this channel, we seek the truth. We're seeing a lot of sentiment being shared on social media by our brothers, unaware of exactly what is going on. They've been sending their money to this nation for a very long time. And I will continue and quote you on this. How can our oppressor be our liberator?
Well, and see, yeah, that's the big thing, especially when we talk about the Hebrew right belief, because you can't expect to learn truth from those who brought you into captivity and think that you're going to know the truth. This is the problem in our conditioning and our mind control that they have done to us, in our changing of our DNA and all the things that they have done to blind us from this revelation. Because a scripture I once saw that's not in the Bible, because they tried to hide this fact of how the demons actually operate. You are already, the Most High knows that you are already soiled, so you can carry sicknesses if you don't have the discernment between angels, the fallen angels can mimic, as it says, they pretend to be angels of light. So they can continue, if you sacrifice to them, they can give you the imagination that you have been healed of certain things. Because if you don't actually know someone who has the true Morning Semi or Holy Spirit to actually demonstrate the opposite, you believe it. So unfortunately, we contribute ourselves and our money to those who really do not have our best interests, because they're not, like Tatanzambi says, those who are created from violence cannot make peace. The Banabetu were not created from violence.
And those that are like their
But we were
father,
brought into it,
who
okay?
was a murderer and a liar from the beginning.
Yes, so you can't, for those who came, the Gentile nations come from the fallen angel spirits. How can they make peace? We came from the God of peace. So it is up to us as Banabetu to restore the peace. That's why it says in John 4:22, salvation is of the Yaounde.
Bana ba muntu.
Exactly. So if we do not bring ourselves home, the world can never be at peace. This is the big lie of Lucifer. He knows who can bring peace into this world. And as you can see, it's not what's happening in Israel, because they're in turmoil. How are they bringing peace? The Christians, aren't the Christians fighting one another right now? Okay. Don't they have Christians killing Christians all the time? So how can they bring peace? This is the issue. Islam's fighting each other. It is Isolele, it is the Banabetu. We are the ones that can bring the peace. But we have to know who we are. And that is the issue that we're dealing with, is because there are people that know this and they're waiting for us to wake up. Many of the Muslims, they know this, okay? There's nations that know this truth. That's why they're fighting so hard against fake Israel right now, because they say you are liars. And the way that they cover it up and to say to be against them is you're anti-Semite. That's Lucifer's game card. So you stay asleep.
There you
Okay.
have it, Banabeto, as always, son of Muntu, giving it to
Hallelujah.
you straight and uncensored. Trey, you're a gem.
And
As
you also, brother.
I say Bayete because we work on different time schedules, but you always make time for the
Hallelujah.
kings and queens scattered all over the four corners, on and off the continent. We continue to ask them on this channel, Ungubani,
When you
who
wake up,
are you?
who are you?
Know thyself, Banabeto.
Hallelujah.
Know
Hallelujah.
thyself, Banabeto. So as always, I let you have the last word. Take it home.
Okay. So Zola Kwingli Banabetu family, like I said, we still even talk to those who are not with us, because we know we are the salvation. We have to realize who we are so that Kuswa Kongo can reveal himself through us. When we receive him, then the kingdom is within us. We are the ones that have the kingdom within ourselves as Banabetu who are scattered. And we have the ability to materialize that kingdom once again here on earth. But you have to know thyself. You have to separate from the world. You have to leave the harlot. The harlot is the world, everything around you that everybody thinks is okay. That is the harlot. They don't even know that they're in the harlot half the time because they're so put to sleep. You're walking in a graveyard of a world right now. The people who are of light are the Banabetu. We have to bring the light to the world so that we can get rid of the darkness. So Ingita Nsambololo Zola Kwingi.
Kembo Kembo Natata Nzambi Mpungu Tolendo, the mighty one of Ambundu, Amusuru, and all the kingdoms of Banabeto, from Kenya in the east, Senegambia in the west, down to South Africa, scattered far and wide, like son of Muntu,
Yes.
who we know is coming home soon.
So
And
I got one last question for you.
shoot.
People of the Bantu of the world, are you been on Muntu or are you been on Zambi? Because
Bananzambe, Banabankosi,
Benanzambe.
they will, that's who's going to rule the world. At the
Bana-
end of
Yes, yes.
Banabankosi.
Bankosi.
Mm.
Hallelujah.
Mhm.
Kembo,
Kembo.
Kembo.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
No, Tono Masaka Jila brothers and Sambololo Zola Quindi. Hallelujah.
Until next time,
Thank you.
viewers and all Banabankosi, I stand corrected by son of Muntu, but Bana Bankosi and all the brothers here. As always, I will be sharing the link because Trey expands this more on his channel. We just try to put it in context here. I will be putting the link in the description. He's a plethora of information. He's well researched and a historian and an author. So whatever he presents on this channel, we know it's verified, it's double checked, and it can be backed up. Until next time, Banabeto.
Hallelujah.
Peace
Sambololo.
and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Lovuvamu.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We